talks of truth, and as Dawkins remarks, science is the best way to do anything, for the science is having evidence, proofs, rigor.
Truth is deeper when you question the very definition of existence. Does it even exist? Something can't be seen, can't be counted, can't be heard, can't be touched, and can't be conceptualized. Does it exist?
Say, this is a book, right? You are sitting here. Now, the orthodox view says that until I measure it, I can't say anything about it. The realist would say that it does exist irrespective of what I do or say.
Now, that's where a little bit of gap remains. Because in doing that or in saying that, we have made the senses the final judge. But one little gap still remains, and the gap is
Hi, I'm Shrang Mishra from second year IACS BSMS course, and as we know, the science talks of truth. We as researchers or students eventually look for truth, the scientific truth, and as Dawkins remarks, science is the best way to do anything, for the science is having evidence, proofs, rigor, and all of that. That's what we call as scientific truth. But the book you have written very decently is truth without apology. So for the definition of truth, there is one truth. Then how do we see the truth which you are speaking of and the truth which scientists are looking for?
No, what scientists deal in is not the truth, but facts. Facts. Facts as seen and experienced and verified and tested by the human being. Right? For example, you look at a pendulum and count the number of oscillations. Right? So who is the judge? How do you know that there have been 3 or 4 oscillations? The human being, which means your eyes. Right? Right? So there is a lot of unexamined trust on the human senses. If my eyes are looking at something, it exists. If I am counting the number of oscillations, that means the pendulum does exist. Truth is deeper when you question the very definition of existence. Does it even exist? In science, what is material to the senses and the mind is existent as well. Okay, I'm asking you something. What is the epistemic proof of existence? Science says, if let's say something can't be seen, can't be counted, can't be heard, can't be touched, and can't be conceptualized, does it exist?
The science would not answer,
Science would say no, simply.
Yeah,
no.
because we can't say anything about
No,
it.
it doesn't exist. We'll say it doesn't. We'll say it doesn't, simply. Let's accept it.
For example, say infrared. We can't see your...
It can be conceptualized. Infrared can be conceptualized.
After we've detected it.
Yes, so something that can't be... You have detected it using the senses, right? Ultimately, it shows up on a screen. Ultimately. So something that can't be seen, touched, smelled, heard of, and not even thought of. Does it exist? Science will say no. Now, that's where a little bit of gap remains. Because in doing that or in saying that, we have made the senses the final judge. Senses including the mind. So we have said what is available to the senses and to the mind will be called as existent. Now that is beautiful because there is a certain honesty in that. Now what we are saying is that there must be something available for verification and falsification and peer review, and then we'll admit it. And that's why Science eradicates a lot of superstition and all that mumbo jumbo and all that, right? But one little gap still remains, and the gap is I'm trusting myself too much without examining who I am.
Yeah, but as we know, the beginning of the quantum mechanics, the standpoint you're having right now is the orthodox, like the part which was taken by multiple scientists. If we can't say anything about it, let's just calculate, right?
Let's
And
just.
for example, say this is a book, right? You are sitting here. Now, the orthodox view says that until I measure it, I can't say anything about it. The realist would say that it does exist irrespective of what I do or say.
Even in both of these, there is something called it being referred to.
Yeah, that's
What if something is not objective at all? I'm going beyond what you are saying. You
and
quoted.
what is it then?
We are not saying, we are not getting into what it is. We are just referring to the gap that exists. That's all. And that's the gap between fact and truth. So we are saying, let's be a little humble and not call it the truth. Let's call it just a fact, a verifiable fact, definitely. A falsifiable fact, definitely. But not yet the absolute truth. It is still relative. Relative to?
But it's the third point of quantum mechanics. As they said, that the thing was that irrespective of what I say or not say, won't be anything. I need to just calculate and move on. But that's what Bell showed. It does matter if the person is there or not. Without the
No,
person,
what you are talking of is just the dependence of the phenomena on the observer.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going beyond that. I'm not talking of that.
But
I'm
beyond-
saying, what if something is not phenomenal at all?
then what is it?
We are not getting to that. We are just saying that there is still some dependence. What is it is a separate question.
So you're saying that, for example, until I verified anything, basically we are assuming
What I'm
error,
saying
an error.
that when something is measured by me, let me always add a caveat. I am the observer. That's all. That's all. That's all. Let's not call it the truth, because the truth has no space for relative subjectivity. But in science, let's admit it, it still exists, though it exists in the faintest form. Yeah. Yes,
If you
yes,
find
yes.
a
That's it. That's it.
flaw, then-
That's it. So that's what explains truth without apology. That's what explains the title. That's where you began from. Yeah.
Assuming, considering the fact that I can be wrong.
Yes,
But
yes,
scientists do
yes.
that.
No, not about being wrong. Not about being wrong.
Error possibility.
No, you don't usually apologize for facts. Facts are
Facts.
objective and secular, and you're fine with that. The problem arises when this one starts living by the facts. Because in living by the facts, you are now challenging prejudices, opinions, and all kinds of stakes and traditions and beliefs and so much. And that's where being unapologetic sets in. So that's where the book draws its title from.
Thank you, sir.